Hi everyone, today we're going to be making some insulated cat houses for all the feral cats that live outside and have nowhere to stay warm. So I'm going to show you the equipment we need. First of all, we're using 1-inch thick insulation, silver lining on one side, red and blue writing on the other side. We get this from Home Depot and I think it was $11.99 or $12.99 a sheet. They're 4 feet by 8 feet, so you have to have a big car to haul it. Otherwise, you can cut it in half and haul it home that way. In addition to that, we're going to need some insulation cutting knives. These are what we've been using, and they work really well. We also purchased those from Home Depot. I can't remember. I think they were maybe $6.99 or $7.99. You'll need to also purchase the bins. We get these at Costco. They run about $8.49 with the yellow tops. In addition to that, you're going to need Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape is the only thing that's going to be waterproof, and we're going to be using that for taping the holes we cut in the door to prevent water from going in between the insulation and the bin. I use duct tape on the inside to tape the insulation together once we put it in. You don't need the waterproof. It's a little easier to work with than the Gorilla Tape, and it's also cheaper. In addition, you'll need a drill with a wood boring bit set. I don't know the exact size here, but you can probably use, this looks like the second to the smallest. And once you see how we use it, you'll understand what size to use that's best for you. A couple other items you're going to need is a metal file to file the opening once you cut it into the box. Make sure it's smooth enough that you can put the tape around. When you are cutting the opening, you're going to use these tin snips. There are right-handed, actually it's right-sided and left-sided and straight tin snips. So just be aware of that when you go to purchase them. We can't forget the Sharpies. You're going to need those for outlining on the insulation, the templates that I'm going to show you how to make. And last but not least, the one thing that's going to keep them warm after the insulation is put in is the straw. You don't want alfalfa, you don't want hay. Straw is the one thing that won't get wet and pull the heat out of the cat. It's going to help the cats stay dry and warm inside their insulated cat houses. We created a 5.5 by 5.5 template for the door opening. What you do is you place this, you want to place it a few inches up, but not so close to these two protrusions that when we drill, it's going to cause a problem or when we cut. And we are going to trace around this so we know where to cut our opening. In addition, we're going to do a second one on the long side and trace around here. That way, if there is a predator, we've got two doors and the cat can exit if the predator is trying to enter one of the doors. Once we've drawn our template, and I'm going to pretend it's drawn here because we've actually already done it on this one. We'll pretend that this hasn't been drilled. Once we draw our template here, we're going to drill 4 holes. We're going to carefully place the drill so that when we turn it, it's going to drill holes in each of these corners. Okay? So once we've drilled, we will have holes in 4 corners, and then we can start snipping with our snips. Again, I'm going to pretend. I use a hair dryer when I'm snipping to warm up the plastic to make it easier to cut. But we're going to snip around here. I'm making it look easy here. We're going to snip all the way around and pull the piece out. Once we've pulled that piece out, we're then going to take our file and we're going to file down the edges so that there aren't too many rough edges and it's easier to tape.
car in the background with a
Very good mining.
Pieces of insulation. These are the two sides. These are the ends.
But I can see it, right? Yes.
This is the top. And this is the bottom. So there is an order to which you put this in. My preference is, and the way I've cut them to put them in, is to do the sides, the ends, and then the bottom. So I place the sides in. These ends will be placed in to hold the sides in place. So we'll also be using duct tape to seal it in even further. Actually not last. Second last is the bottom. The bottom needs a little bit of finessing. It's going to hold everything into place. You want to make sure you have it all the way down. The next step is going to be using duct tape to seal up these pieces, and also cutting out the openings for the insulation. Now that we've placed all the insulation in the box and we've cut out the holes in the insulation, we're going to tape. I use duct tape, not Gorilla Tape, for the inside, and I try to use as little as possible because you want to maximize the reflective surface area. So what I do is I measure. And this is about 10 and a half. I'm going to need 4 pieces that are 10 and a half. This is about 23 and a half. I'm going to need 2 pieces of 23 and a half. And this is about 13 and a half. So I'll need 2 pieces of 13 and a half inches. Cut my piece of duct tape, and it's now 10 and a half inches long. And I'm going to fold it like this so I can place it in. It doesn't really matter how it looks as long as it just seals up the openings and keeps everything nice and airtight. And I'll slide that in there. And then I'll do that for all the seams. So once we've placed all the pieces of insulation in the box, we need to cut out the holes for the entrance and exits in the styrofoam. So we're going to place our knife up against the sides. We need to be careful not to pop the silver lining, because when you pop it, it creates an air bubble and removes it from the back of the foam. So you want to make sure that you penetrate the back of the foam insulation and then just slide your knife down. You're going to do that on all 4 sides. And then you have your open. The inside and sealed up all the seams. And now we're going to tape up, the outside. So what the plan is to put tape across here, and we're going to use Gorilla Tape because that's much more waterproof. We want to seal up the area between this plastic bin and the foam so no water gets in. So what I'm going to do is all around the opening, I'm going to cut these pieces of Gorilla Tape and then take them in. And the most important part is if there's a lip or anything here, you want to make sure it's flush. That absolutely no air pockets or anything like that where the water could get in. I'm going to do that all the way around this opening. And on the corners, see if I can tear this, where I tear this portion here, and I tear this portion here. I place this in the corner, and then I can butterfly this. So it keeps that corner sealed nicely. No water will get in. and I work my way around. Once I'm done, I will cut a piece of Gorilla Tape, and I'll place a nice piece on each side just to clean it up and make it look nice. So we have our pieces in. The last piece to put in is the top. We're going to place the top in,
You know why?
but we're going to add, push it down, we're going to add
That's all I care about.
a little handle.
Where's
That way you can easily
months.
pull the top out. And every year you should be replacing the straw that's inside. So here's your handle. Now we can tape up the inside, cut the holes here, tape up the outside, put in the straw, seal the lid. May I have a yellow lid, please? Thanks. Seal this down, and we have our insulated cat house.